As Taiwan prepares for its general election on January 13, 2024, a group of young activists from Hong Kong and Taiwan are campaigning to raise awareness of the threat posed by the People's Republic of China to the island's democracy. The group has launched an initiative called Hong Kong Walk with Taiwan, and will travel across Taiwan to urge people not to trust, quote, China's lies, end quote. They will begin their tour at the end of December from the Taiwanese capital Taipei, and drive counterclockwise around the island, giving speeches, distributing leaflets, and setting up Lenin walls in various cities. The organizer of the event is Lo Ji-wei, a Hong Kong student who lives in exile in Taiwan. At a press conference on Friday, December 15, Lo Ji-wei said that China has made many promises in the past, but has not kept them. He stated, quote, "What is the so-called one country two systems? It means forcibly implementing the national security law in Hong Kong, forcing our entire Hong Kong civil society, political parties, trade unions, student unions etc. to be disbanded and exiled," end quote. The one country two systems framework refers to a constitutional principle of the People's Republic of China that describes the governance of Hong Kong as a special administrative region with a high degree of autonomy. It was put forward by former Chinese leader Deng Xiaoping in the early 1980s during negotiations with the United Kingdom over the future of Hong Kong, which was a British colony until 1997. Under this framework, Hong Kong was supposed to retain its own economic and administrative system, legal system, basic rights and freedoms and way of life. However, on the 30th of June 2020, the Chinese Communist government enacted the National Security Law, which criminalizes acts of secession, subversion, terrorism, and collusion with foreign or external forces. Hundreds of people have been prosecuted under the National Security Law, including protesters, pro-democracy politicians and journalists. The law has resulted in the erosion of the freedoms, rights and civil liberties that Hong Kong traditionally enjoyed. Lo Ji-wei said that the initiative is not meant as an endorsement of any political party or candidate, but to show support for democracy and freedom, and, quote, reject China, end quote. Wu Haorin, a professor at the Department of Law at Fu Ren Catholic University, complained that many Taiwanese have lost interest in Hong Kong, adding that 2/3 of the parties running in the general election believe in appeasing and not angering China. Wu Haoring was critical of the mistakes made by Hong Kong and Taiwan in the past. He argued that they heavily invested in the PRC shortly after the 1989 Tiananmen Square crackdown, and by doing so, they saved the Chinese Communist Party at that time. He stated, quote, "Today Hong Kong has already paid the price. Young people from Hong Kong have come to tell us not to take the wrong path again. I hope Taiwanese people will remember Hong Kong's fate, and stop being so naive," end quote. Wu Ruren, an associate researcher at the Institute of Taiwan History, Academia Sinica, explained that Taiwan's constant sense of crisis has resulted in numbness to the current situation. He said, quote, "If you are tired of hearing the slogan, 'Today Hong Kong, tomorrow Taiwan,' then take a look at these young Hong Kong people. Do you want your children to become exiles or prisoners in their early 20s? Do you want your children to become slaves who cannot speak freely for the rest of their life, and do not even have the freedom to lie down?" End quote. Lo Ji-wei stated that walking together means not only that Taiwan has always supported Hong Kong over the past 20 years, but that Hong Kong has always supported Taiwan. He raised the issue of Hong Kong asylum seekers who might face deportation if a pro-Beijing government were elected in Taiwan. Quote, "I came to Taiwan with an asylum application, but this is not a law, just an administrative order. If the ruling party changes, this group of Hong Kong refugees or asylum seekers will likely be forced to face exile again, and whether their asylum will expire will become a new issue," end quote. Hong Kongers who immigrated to Taiwan after 2019 wanted to enjoy democracy and freedom, he stated. Quote, "If this election heralds the demise of Taiwan's democracy, I believe many Hong Kong people will worry about the arrival of their old rival, the Chinese Communist Party," end quote. A total of 36,789 Hong Kongers moved to Taiwan from 2019 to 2022 amidst Beijing's tightening grip on the city. In April 2019, Lam Wing-Kei, one of 5 Hong Kong booksellers who were kidnapped by the Chinese Communist authorities on charges of selling prohibited books, moved to Taiwan over fears of persecution. He warned the Taiwanese public, quote, "If Taiwan is unified by mainland China, you will all end up like me," end quote. On July 11, 2021, popular Hong Kong radio and television host Sang Chi-ho announced on Facebook that he had fled to Taiwan. He wrote, quote, "Hi everyone, I have arrived in Taiwan. I am very sorry. I have not been able to say goodbye to everyone properly. I opened my eyes and realized that Hong Kong is no longer what it used to be," end quote. Sang was the host of the Crazy and Happy radio show, as well as the satirical show Headliner on Hong Kong's public broadcaster Radio Television Hong Kong, RTHK. Headliner, which began airing in 1989 and was the city's oldest satirical show, was cancelled in May 2021 after the Hong Kong Communications Authority told RTHK that an episode of the show had denigrated and insulted the police.